Hey guys, this is me, Kevin Murphy, on my channel called Narcissistic Abuse Learning Who I Am Again. In this video, I have another question by a viewer who commented on one of my other videos. I'm going to try to read their question. It says, after 5 years, he says, I apologize for any behavior that may have been wrong. And when I thought we were beginning again, I haven't heard from him all week. Does it seem all the things I am accused of is he as well or my imagination? So maybe I am the narcissist after 7 months of no contact. I called him, I missed him. He said he became disheartened due to my aloofness. He said after being in prayer, he is released from being there for me, when all along I felt he wasn't accept at his convenience and say so. How do I know if I abused him? Well, to answer your question, you didn't abuse him. This guy or whoever this person is being very manipulative towards you. So I'm going to talk about in this video ways the narcissist will try to manipulate you, gaslighting. So the narcissist has a lot of arsenal under their sleeve. They will try to do anything they can to blame you for their behavior. So it's all about projection. So if the narcissist is called out for being selfish, then they're going to try to make you feel like you're selfish, like you're the bad person. And if they are the ones that are being abusive, they're cursing you out, they're saying horrible things to you, then they're going to accuse you of doing the things that they're doing. So it's a way to get you off track. It's almost like a form of bait and switch. So, for example, an example of bait and switch is the narcissist will try to provoke you into an argument with them, and then they will try, which is the bait. And so once you take that bait and you start hollering or cursing back at the narcissist or feeling the need to stand up for yourself, then the narcissist is going to switch it back onto you and say, see, he's crazy or she's crazy. I tried to tell you, listen to what he said to me. Look at what she said. Look at what she said to me. And this is their way of trying to avoid accountability. This is their way of trying to manipulate the situation and turn the victim into the aggressor, when in reality, they are the aggressor and you are the victim. So by that viewer's comment, it sounds as if that this person tried to hold the narcissist accountable and tried to confront the narcissist about their behavior, and somehow that narcissist projected and tried to turn around their behavior and project their behavior onto this viewer. And this is very, very, very common with narcissists and with narcissistic abuse. They will try to turn this. They will try to turn the tables on you. They try to flip the script, so to speak, to get you to. And this is why a lot of victims will say, or survivors will say, I had to be the one to apologize. I had to be the one to say I'm sorry. I didn't do anything wrong, so I don't understand why I'm the one that has to say I'm sorry for for something that I didn't do. And this is their way of trying to get you to take responsibility for their behavior. And the narcissist hates accountability. They hate taking responsibility for their behavior, and they do not like consequences for their behavior. So, to answer your question, you're not the narcissist. If you are no contact, I would suggest that you stay no contact. Do not feel guilty for not being in correspondence with this person. This person sounds like he's very toxic. He sounds like he is projecting his own issues onto you and making you sound like the bad person. And this is very, very, very typical of narcissistic abuse. They they will try to make you be. They will anytime you call them out on certain issues, they will try to make you the bad person. Another example of the bait and switch and the manipulative tactics of the narcissist. I did a video way early on when I started this channel. I had a narcissistic roommate, ex-roommate, and this roommate liked playing with axes and knives and things like that. And so I really, really feel that this roommate was a narcissist. I strongly believe he was a narcissist because I confronted him about the knife and the axe playing. It wasn't safe in the house. And the times that he would play with the knives and the axes in the house was when he was drunk. And so kindly went up to him and said, "Look, I don't feel comfortable with you playing with axes and knives in the common area. If you want to play with axes and knives in your room, in your bedroom, that's totally fine. But as your roommate and as a person who is sharing responsibilities in this house, I don't feel comfortable with axes and knives being played with in the common area, especially when you've been drinking, especially when you've had a history of leaving doors open, passing out drunk, and things of that nature." And when I set that boundary, because narcissist people do not like boundaries, when I set that boundary, he totally disregarded my boundary. He argued with me, told me that he didn't feel that he needed to stop playing with knives or anything like that. And so the way that the the way I was baited into an argument with him was he, you know, I wanted to talk further about it, and I wanted to tell him, voice my concerns and voice my opinions and set that boundary, and he totally disregarded me. So that was the bait. The bait was to disregard my concern. The bait was to stomp all over my boundaries and to push me away. So for me, that was a trigger. And the switch was the fact that that was the bait, and I took the bait by getting angry with him and shouting at him and cursing at him and things like that. So the switch happened by me, by him telling his friends and putting it on me that I was the aggressor, I was abusive, and I was the bad person because I got angry because of the fact that he was invalidating my concern about him playing with knives and axes in the house. So it's a very common tactic of narcissists. It's a way um, to keep you in control. It's a way for them to continue to do whatever they want to do without consequences, without accountability, because the narcissist looks at any form of accountability or any form of consequences as a narcissistic injury. So they don't like it when we set boundaries. They don't like it when we confront them on things. So when we confront them on things, then they turn it around and they make us seem like we're the narcissist, or we're the toxic person, or we are the aggressor. And if we're not careful and we stay with this narcissist and we're around this narcissist, whether they are friends, our family members, or our significant other, then we're going to start to believe that we are bad people and that we're defective. And we'll start going around other people with that belief of ourselves and unconsciously um, bringing that into our relationships. And people are not going to understand why we're behaving this way, especially people who don't know anything about narcissistic personality disorder. So naturally, they're going to stay away from us, and that's what the narcissist wants. The narcissist wants that's their form of isolating us from other people. So that way, that narcissist has relentless control over us. So if you find yourself in a situation like that, you need to go no contact immediately. Whether it's a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a family member, you need to cut ties with a person who's doing that. That is an insidious form of mental abuse. Um, psychological abuse, and it's something that should not be tolerated by anybody. So if you find yourself in a situation like that, if you live with this person, I would try to find, I would try to find other friends to stay with. I would try to plan my exit, plan my escape the best way I can. And I wouldn't look back. That narcissist, especially if they're a malignant narcissist, they will try to hoover you back in. They'll try to do the Barry White begging, saying, "Baby, baby, please. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it." Don't fall for it. It's a game. It's I wouldn't fall for it. I wouldn't pay them any attention, and I would just move on and cut ties. Because usually a person who's malignant narcissist like this, they don't change. They don't get any better, and they may go to counseling for a minute or two, but when they're in counseling, there's one or two things that they'll end up doing. They'll try to manipulate the psychologist or manipulate the counselor to try to get them to side with them, and sometimes this actually works, or they will go to counseling just to appease the victim into staying, and then once they got that victim hooked back in, then the narcissist will stop going to counseling. They'll go back to devaluating the victim, and if that victim has left or caused a form of narcissistic injury, that narcissist is going to make them pay for that narcissistic injury that they inflicted on that narcissist. So once you're gone and once you leave that relationship or leave that situation, you need to stay gone because it doesn't get better with time. In fact, that narcissist is at home stewing and waiting and calculating for ways to punish you for leaving them, for not, letting them control and abuse you, because they have so much ugliness inside. That's why they're narcissistic. They have so much ugliness packed inside their body, inside their soul, and they want to vomit it on someone else, and they know that they can't do it to just anybody, so they'll do it to people that are closest to them, people they feel that are an easy target for them. And instead of them going to get help, instead of them going to finding ways um to finding other ways to work through those issues, it works for them. It has worked for them, and it's been reinforced. Like all I have to do is like vomit all over people in order to get all this ugliness out, instead of just working through those things. And you don't have to put up with that. You shouldn't have to, and you shouldn't want to put up with that. So to answer this person's question, no, you need to plan your exit. If you live with this person, I would try to plan my exit. If you don't live with them and you're far away from them and you're no contact, because I think that's what your comment said, that you were no contact for 7 months, I would stay no contact. I would, you're going to miss your narcissist. I've said this in other videos before. There's going to be times you're going to miss your narcissist. You're going to miss him. You're going to do not contact them. You have to work, develop a strong support system, develop people around you that will help you through this. And every time you have an urge to contact this person, contact your support system and say, look, I need your help through this. I want to contact Tom. I want to contact Jack. I don't, I know that it's not within my best interest to contact this person, but I'm having a weak moment right now. Can you help me through this? Have that support system. Journal. Think of, when you want to contact that person, you start missing the narcissist. Start journaling all of the bad things that narcissist has done to you. Journal and think about all of the things of reasons of why you went no contact in the first place. Because you didn't go no contact because your boyfriend or your friend or whoever this is was a wonderful person. You went no contact because you were being abused, you were being mistreated. So every time, this is my challenge to this viewer, every time you feel the urge to contact this person, that you feel the urge to, to have some form of correspondence, start journaling and writing down the reasons why you went no contact with them. Because you didn't go no contact with them for nothing. You didn't stop corresponding with them for nothing. You stopped corresponding with them because you were being abused, and you mentally, you got tired of being abused. You got tired of going through that kind of hell. And that's totally fine. And that narcissist has probably guilt tripped you and making you feel that you were wrong for cutting them off. They're going to do that. That is their manipulation. That is their way of trying to get you to come back. And then once you go back, he is going to make you pay for cutting him off, because that is a form of narcissistic injury, which which will unravel narcissistic rage. So the narcissist does not like to be humiliated. They don't like to be told no. They don't like to be left or anything like that. So if you're no contact, stay no contact. Keep up the good work. Keep on setting boundaries. Do develop a really strong support system. Please journal. Journal all of your thoughts, and just release all of those things. And once you journal, you'll be surprised. There were times where I wanted to go back to contacting narcissistic people in my life and things like that. And every time I had that urge to pick up that phone, to text or to call them, I started to journal, and I said no. I put that phone down, and I said no, I'm not contacting them. I left this person alone because they were abusive to me verbally, they humiliated me, they gossiped about me, they slandered me, they put their hands on me, the whole nine. So that's what you'll have to do. Just journal and write down. And what I would do is I would also probably keep that list in the bathroom, in your bedroom, in your kitchen, on the refrigerator, in your glove box, wherever you are the most, wherever you spend the most time. I would keep that list, and every time I would feel the urge to contact this person, I would look at that list and say, that's why I went no contact. This is why he went no contact. He cheated on me. He humiliated me. He slapped me. He called me a bitch. He said that I wasn't shit. He said that I wasn't going to amount to anything. He pulled my hair. He killed my cat. He tried to burn my house down. Whatever they did, that you should read through that list before you think about picking up that phone and dialing his number. So this was a video on narcissistic manipulation. Please stay tuned for more videos. If you have any requests or any questions about my channel, or any requests that you want me to do, please email me. My email is kevinmurphy28@yahoo.com. I'm not really good at reading my comments. Sometimes I don't see my comments until a few days or 2 weeks later. So if you have any questions, I would, it'd be better to email me, so I will be able to answer your questions a lot faster, and I'll be able to see your comments a lot sooner, because a lot of times I won't see the comments until I'm randomly watching my own videos. So yeah. Please, if you have any questions, just send me an email. Again, it's kevinmurphy28@yahoo.com. And yeah, please feel free to ask me any questions or any concerns or any requests. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and to really, explore other people's channels as well, because they are out there talking about the same kind of stuff I'm talking about too. So I hope all of you guys will have a good night, and I will see you soon. Bye.